And, I mean, so for example, sometimes people say, well, how can you, really appreciate, or should you appreciate somebody who's not like, performing at their best? Personally, I like to work with cheerful people more than grumpy people. It's not going to show up on their performance, evaluation, but it's something I can value, or I can value somebody that's, training for a half marathon or something like that, and say, hey, that's cool that you got the discipline to do that. Or, maybe a single mom who's just really committed to her kids, and say, man, Maria, I'm just so impressed with how you just love and are committed to your kids. And it's not about work, but it's about her. And that kind of communication will really create some ties and loyalty to your organization.
Yeah, exactly. And you said something else like, that kind, and people, again, it's when you hear things, you say, yeah, of course. But oftentimes we need to be reminded of the important things in life, as simple as they might be. But kindness, you said, is love in action. And and that's kindness is showing appreciation to somebody, where they can really feel it. And it can be about just about anything.
Yeah. And the other sort of misconception that a lot of people have, and especially leaders, is that, one, appreciation isn't the same as recognition, but appreciation isn't just words. And that's why we have the 5 languages, because we actually had over 300,000 people take our assessment now, and good data, and shows that, less than half of the workforce actually have words as their primary way they want to be shown appreciation. So if we only use words from the get-go, we're sort of missing half of our people in how they really want to be shown appreciation.
Yeah, you had a lot of terrific statistics based on studies with large groups of people. You're not talking 100 people. I mean, you're tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
And so you're collecting data that really means something.
Yeah. And it's global, and it's in different languages too. I mean, English primarily, but we have our assessment in Spanish and in Chinese and other things too. So it's interesting to see how things, sort of vary a little bit across the world, but the 5 languages seem to be pretty cross-cultural and relevant.
Yeah, right. Human beings are human beings, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I have a couple of the actual stats. One you already alluded to: 79% of people leave a job because they don't feel appreciated. Whereas I think a lot of people would say, oh, geez, I would thought 80% leave because they're not making enough money. But
right.
65% of North Americans report no recognition in the past year.
They haven't. They say they haven't received any. Whether or not, I think there's things that are being sent, but it's not hitting the mark, and so it's sort of the same as not getting it. Right?
Exactly right.
What drives us to perform can be monetary or other kinds of financial things, but it's interesting. There's just a slight difference of what sort of gets you to decouple, to unhook, to disengage and leave is not money, but it's that you don't feel like anybody really values, or appreciates you. So, and it's important, I think, also just to follow up on something you said, that one of the things we learned is this is not just for supervisors and managers to do. It's not their sole responsibility, because, they can't do it for everybody. And more younger workers really value peer and collegial relationships more than just, top down with their supervisor. And so one of the things that we've learned over time is to provide training. And we have an online train the trainer course that people can take and do it yourself, the whole team, so that it's not just, the manager, but, colleagues, people you work with, they show appreciation, you show appreciation, and it works. It spreads out the responsibility. And plus, when you're discouraged or having a bad day, I mean, your colleagues are going to know before your supervisor, typically.
You said something else that was really great. You said appreciation works like oil. It helps things work and move better in the business. And it really is. What happens to your engine, right? If you're not changing your oil, it seizes up, it stops working, it breaks, and you have to replace it. Same thing happens in the workplace. If you're not, it's real, like you said, that it's the culture, it's all the interactions. It's a sum of all those interactions in the workplace. And if appreciation is not there, or value is not shown, and not felt, it's then what?
Bad things happen. I mean, if you think about a lack of oil, what happens? Things start to create heat. There's tension, there's sparks, they get stuck, they don't move, right? And some people, I understand, they say, this appreciation stuff sort of touchy-feely, psychobabble kind of stuff. And I understand it, but that's not really the goal. I mean, that's one of the goals, but the other goal is we want the organization to work well. We got all kinds of research that shows when team members feel valued. In fact, new research came out in the Harvard Business Review 2 weeks ago, that teams that when they feel valued, they outproduce and they're more profitable than teams that don't. Turnover goes down, absenteeism goes down, customer service ratings go up, less conflict. Managers like their job more because they're not having to deal with stupid, heat and conflict that doesn't really need to happen. Yep. So, it's practical as well as, just valued interpersonal interactions.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, all the confirmation's there, right? It's like these studies continue to be done and new stuff comes out that just confirms.
Yeah. It's sort of like, we do better if we breathe, eat well, exercise, get some sleep. It's like, hello, yeah.
It's pretty simple, right? But it's hard to follow. Simple doesn't mean it's easy.